And just like that, we're back, coming at you again, another Views from Section 400 podcast, talking about the NFL Draft, NBA Playoffs, NHL Playoffs. The world of sports is going crazy. Here with Brian. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. I gotta say that was an incredible intro. I'll give you a nice ovation for that. For those listening to the pod that aren't watching on YouTube, Jack had to do the intro because our guy Matt is about as dead as his Philadelphia 76ers. We're recording this Sunday night. His Sixers lost Sunday afternoon. He was out at Xfinity Live, and we don't know if he's asleep or if he's just too heartbroken to come on. But at least for the start of the show, this will be without Sixers fan Matt.
Yeah, I'm hoping that he got back to his apartment, made something to eat, fell asleep. Hopefully he's not on Philadelphia Transit in trouble or something like that. But you never know in Philadelphia. Sixers lost. I think the Phillies got the win, so maybe they're not rioting because of that. But Sixers lost a big playoff game today. We'll get into that when we start talking about NBA. But we're going to start it off with the Michael of the Week. Brian, you created the Michael of the Week. Start us off here.
Yeah, so I thought about going the NFL route and going with Michael Penix off of the Michael, but I decided against it because this story was so outrageous. There's this Diamondbacks prospect named Yasmir Alvarez. He struck out 5 guys in 1 inning of baseball due to wild pitches and stuff. But the craziest part, he came back out for the 8th inning. He did that in the 7th inning. Struck out another guy on a wild pitch. Guy gets to first base, gives up a double, and gets pulled. So this guy's final line on his night: 1 inning pitched, 6 strikeouts, 2 hits, 0 walks, 2 earned runs.
That is unbelievable. Yeah, obviously, I didn't see the pitches, but was his strike 3 pitch just that nasty where they were swinging at it and then it was going to the backstop?
And you got this double-A catcher that probably is not going to make his way to the major leagues. I just had no idea what he was doing. It was.
Oh, God. Yeah, well, a bad catcher can definitely do that, but that pitcher must have some nasty stuff if he's getting that many guys out on strikeouts in 1 inning pitch. So
with a name like Yasmir Alvarez, he's got to have some fillip to him.
How many hitters did he face? He struck out 6, but how many did he face?
So he got 3 outs. He struck out 6, and he allowed 2 hits. So he had to go through the whole order at least once.
That's nuts. Regardless, that is crazy. My Michael of the Week is what you mentioned, Michael Penix. Man, what is Atlanta doing? I know we all reacted live during the NFL Draft live show that we did on YouTube. Great time. Yeah, if you guys haven't checked that out, definitely should. You get our live reactions to all 32 first-round picks. But what was Atlanta thinking with Michael Penix at 8? You just signed Kirk Cousins for the next 4 years. He has a no-trade clause like he does with all of his other contracts. You hold the power as a franchise quarterback in this league. So what are they thinking? I mean, they have Kirk locked in there for 4 years. Unless he wants to go somewhere else, he's going to be there. I can't imagine Michael Penix being the move there when you can have a legitimate shot with a guy like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, on the live show, I think it was you that said we're going to see something in the next couple of days that comes out of their thinking. I haven't seen anything. All I've seen is Arthur Blank was stunned by the move. Kirk Cousins was stunned by the move, and their GM hasn't said anything.
Yeah, that was me that said that. I said, hopefully we see a report in a day or two that comes out, tells us a little bit more what they were thinking, makes this a little bit easier for all of us fans and viewers to comprehend. And to your point, no, nothing's come out. I am confused as hell. Raheem Morris, GM, they must think that, Penix really is going to be the future because I think they did this. Will was saying on the live show, this was a year too early to go get your quarterback. This is probably 2 to 3 years too
Yeah.
early for me. I mean, you've got Kirk Cousins. I know he's coming off the injury. You want to have a guy there, but at that point, keep Ritter. I mean, third year at this point, it has to be able to do something. I mean, look, if Kirk goes down, they have Penix. He's going to be a dog for them. They're going to look like geniuses. But if he's sitting on the bench for the next 4 years, man, this is Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love 2.0.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense with the Falcons allegedly going all in. You brought up Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love. It's the same thing where they would never get Rodgers talent, and then they went ahead and got Love, and that you saw what that led to. So I don't understand it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. And for all you people that are sitting there saying, look at where they are now with Jordan Love looking good in the NFC. Yeah, they're looking good, sure. But they wasted how many years with Aaron Rodgers? You had the best quarterback in the NFL for how many years, and you never got another Super Bowl because you drafted Jordan Love and wouldn't put talent around him. It's exactly what we're going to see here in Atlanta. The Green Bay looks good now. They sort of look set up. Youngest offense in the NFL, and they got a playoff win last year. So on the road too. So good for them. They're going in the right direction, but the goal here is Super Bowls, and that is not a Super Bowl move right there by the Atlanta Falcons.
No, it doesn't make any sense at all. I'm really lost for words because I just can't find an avenue where I can look at and be like, yeah, it makes sense. But hey, Penix is our guy. He did ultimately let us down, but he got him there. He made college football a lot of fun for us, especially with Auburn struggling as much as they did.
That's for sure. And I don't know if I've said this on record on the pods yet, but I still think that Penix is going to be the second best quarterback, if not the best quarterback in this draft class. So JJ McCarthy, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, don't have faith in all of them. Caleb Williams, I don't think he could be in a better position. If he busts, it's going to be one of the all-time busts. I can guarantee you that, especially when you move on from Fields, and this is what you got to show. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I think we're all super surprised by that Michael Penix pick, and that's what the Michael is about. Surprise.
Yeah, and we'll get more into the NFL draft after we talk about the NBA and NHL. But last thing, you brought up JJ McCarthy. Did you see when he walked into the Vikings stadium and he had like his clothes were way too big and
Yes, I did see that. I saw somebody memed it. I forget what they said, but it was hilarious.
yeah, it was like the mom I got called to the principal's office posture or something like that. I saw that one.
Yeah.
That was
Oh, it was like, Mom, I threw up or whatever.
yeah. Yeah, but that guy, speaking of busts, I see no path where he's good in the NFL.
I'm with you there too. And he's gonna have the best receiver at this current stage in time with Justin Jefferson to throw the ball to. He's got a Jordan Addison coming into his second year, who was a dog in his rookie year last year. So he's got weapons, but I don't think he's all that good. What's his name? Kevin O'Connell is going to have to scheme up some pretty interesting stuff for that offense to run.
But yeah, I guess we'll get into our full NFL draft recap in a bit. But we do have to talk about a wild NBA playoff weekend. We got kind of into the Sixers talk. I guess we should go further in depth now. I know we don't have Matt to kind of make fun of here, but I'm sure he'll be getting mad at us watching this back anyway.
Brian, I know you're on my side here. We're loving what the Knicks are doing right now. We're loving every second of Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Harkenstein. I don't care what you say, Frankenstein. We're going crazy in the Garden. And then we took it down to Philly today and took them down. And, Joel Embiid is complaining about the fans, about how Knicks fans are packing out the stadium, making it feel like a home game for the Knicks. It's crazy, man. I love it.
We got Sixers fan Matt on the line right now. Yo.
Yo.
Did you fall asleep?
Yeah. I literally was like fucking sitting on the couch, dude. Eyes got top heavy, and then I fucking fell asleep.
All right, well, we're mid-show, but we just got to the Sixers talk. If you want to hop on here and defend yourself.
Fuck. All right. God damn it.
See you soon.
All right. See ya.
Well, I think we called it there.
That this is gonna be awesome. I cannot wait for him to hop on here 5 minutes out of being asleep, pissed off about the Sixers.
Yeah, but before he gets on his rant, I will go off of what you said. The Knicks are cooking. Jalen Brunson is that dude. And I know the Mavs are happy with Kyrie and Luka in their backcourt, but I'm sure there's a part of them that's kicking themselves that they let him go.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Now Luca still talks about it all the time, even though Kyrie is insane. And Kyrie was incredible in the Mavs loss today. I'm pretty sure he was the high game leading scorer, but he was hitting threes. Did you see that finish he had
The
between the
layup
three?
at the end gave him the
Man,
lead.
he's insane. Yeah, they struck down the 30-point lead. They had the lead. They came back, and they just couldn't seal the deal.
Yeah, it would have been the only 31-point comeback in NBA history. And I'm sure if you were watching the broadcast, you heard this a million times. But it was the Clippers in 2019 against the Warriors, and it would have been funny for them to kind of bookend that record, and the Clippers blew their own 31-point lead. But I mean, hey, Paul George was playoff P at the end. James Harden actually showed up. I think he's laying off the strip clubs because he's looked good in this series.
I was gonna say he has looked good in this series. Paul George has looked incredible in this series, and honestly, I wish Luca was playing a little bit better. Not to say that he's doing bad by any means. He had 30-something points today, but he needs to be the best player on the floor. He does.
Yep.
For the Mavs to win this game, for the Mavs to win the series. Interesting enough, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the Mavs are 2-0 when Kawhi Leonard plays in this series, and 0-2 when Kawhi Leonard is on the bench due to injury.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
kind of wild.
It's a really wild stat. It's definitely not. I don't think if you're the Mavs, you're rooting for Kawhi to play.
No.
But this has a 7-game series written all over it, and I'm
Oh,
all here
yeah.
for a game 7 if it gets
Oh
there.
yeah. And I know when we did our roundtable before this NBA first round started, I said that this was the series that I was looking forward to the most. I thought Luca was going to have maybe an extra fight or two by the end of game 4 already, but you can definitely tell that these guys are playing hard, and there's no soft fouls going on in this Clippers and Mavs matchup.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Like you said, Luka kind of played like shit today, and he still dropped a 30-point triple double. It's just the kind of, I guess, pedestal we've put him on. But with him,
Yeah.
I think he kind of has the like the Jokic European kind of. He can look lazy at times. The difference there is Jokic will draw a double team and kick it out, where Luka will just take a step back three. That most of the time back rims. You brought up the roundtable. The series I said that was going to be fun to watch. That's been a shit show. The Lakers and the Nuggets. They avoided the sweep, but it's not looking great.
Yeah, I mean, look, you really think that they're going to come back from down 3-0? If there's somebody that's going to do it, it's LeBron James, but it's not happening. It's
Yeah,
not
that's what I thought. If there's someone that's going to do it, it's going to be LeBron. And then he had that post-game press conference where he said it's just basketball. And this is the guy that if he'd be up 3-0 would be talking about, everything under the moon about how he's the greatest of all time. And now it's just basketball.
You can't. Yeah, you got to have that killer mentality. I saw something about like you never hear Kobe Bryant say that, and like you're damn right you wouldn't.
Yeah, you never.
It's never just basketball. This is what you've been. This has been your whole life for 30-something years, bro. Almost 40 years. Like, come on.
He's been in the league longer than he's been out of the league in his lifetime.
Yeah. But yeah, my take on this Lakers Nuggets series, it's tough. Look, just like how UConn went back to back, it's tough to say that anybody's going to beat the Nuggets in a 7-game series, man. They've looked vulnerable as hell against the Lakers, and they've still come back in multiple games when being down 20 points in game 2 and 3. They were both down 20 points in both those games. Came back, got the win, up 3-0. They dropped this game to the Lakers. It's okay. You can drop one. You can drop another one. It's really not until you drop all the next 3 or the next 2, to make it 3 in a row. It's not until it gets to 3-3 are you actually worried. They've got some time. They've got some leeway. That's what a 3-0 lead will get you. And at the end of the day, they're going to get the job done. Move on to round 2.
They really should, and it doesn't bode great for our Thunder future that they have looked so dominant. But our Thunder are up 3-0. Might get.
Thunder have also looked dominant.
Yeah, they've blown out. I think they won by like 25 in NOLA in game 3. So I know they don't have Zion, but I mean the young Thunder are starting to look like they belong in the playoffs. And
yeah, they were asleep for game 1, and it was a close game. But games 2 and 3, they've turned it up a little bit. I'm not worried about them. They're going to take this series pretty easily and see who they match up with next round.
Yeah, hopefully, well, it'll be
probably the Clippers or
Clippers or Mavs, which
Mavericks.
It's going to be a tough series. But hey, if they get the sweep and that series goes 7, I guess you have the whole rest versus rust debate, but I think it's better to get rest if you're the Thunder.
Definitely.
And then I guess we could go to the other 1-8 series. Heat Culture got a win in game 2 somehow, but then they got blown out again in game 3. Do you see any path?
I don't, but I say that with hopes that Miami ends up winning the series. I really don't like Boston at all, and I'm a pretty big fan of the Heat, all things considered. I'm a fan of a lot of their players. So I'd like to see them win. I don't think they will. The Celtics are too good, too deep. Jason Tatum won't let them lose in this first round. I also just haven't been watching that series as much. Jason Tatum's such a drama queen, and the refs are definitely fans of Tatum is all I'll say.
Yeah, the refs have been, I won't call them bad, but they've definitely been full on favoring some of the players so far in these playoffs.
Yeah, it's an all-star league for sure. Just the best way to say it.
Yeah, and I guess we can move to the Magic and Cavs tied 2-2, but it's been a pretty shitty series, even though it's tied 2-2. Every game it's like a 20-point win.
Yeah, it's been interesting over there. I was raving about on our last pod about how Donovan Mitchell's the best player on the court, and this was going to be a sweep because he's just unstoppable. But credit to Paolo and the Magic, man. They're getting it done. They brought it back to 2-2, which I did not expect to happen, but they're rolling right now, and you got to give them credit for it. They're a young team. Took them 2 games to figure out what playoff basketball is like, and shit, they have a chance to win the series.
Yeah, I'm telling you, with the power of that TikTok song, anything is possible. But your guy, Josh Allen, was in attendance for game 4. Had a semi-awkward interaction with Paulo, but I think it was just...
I did see that. I mean, Josh Allen's a semi-awkward guy in general. Love you, Josh. Friend of the podcast. But yeah, he's a big dude. He's a football player. He's a defensive end. Crashes helmets with guys day in and day out. He's a little weird. It's fine. We still love him. Yeah. Second in the NFL in sacks last season.
Got paid for a reason. I guess it's the last series we could really talk about someone we don't like, who apparently NBA players don't love either. There was an anonymous poll done by The Athletic, and while Doc Rivers was voted as the 3rd coach that players would want to play for that they never played for, he was also ranked as the 2nd that they wouldn't want to play for, that they've never played for. So a very polarizing figure down there.
Definitely.
But he lost his 2 best players in this series. Dame and Giannis are out again for game 4 tonight. And in a big game, too. If the Pacers win, they take a 3-1 lead. They got Patrick Beverley, Bobby Portis, and Chris Middleton left.
Yeah. Yo, Chris Middleton's a dog.
He is.
Chris Middleton's a dog. And Brook Lopez, he's been insane this series. The threes that he's been hitting, the clip that he's hitting at is pretty nuts. So they still have a very good supporting cast. When you're missing Giannis and Dame, like 2 of the best players in the NBA, two debatable top 5, top 10 guys on any given night, top 5. It's tough, man. They were saying on the broadcast earlier, the Bucks have only played one game this season without both Dame and Giannis. Either one of them has been available all season, if not both. Only one game without both of them. So it's going to be tough. The Pacers are an electric team, dude. They're a pretty electric offense between Hallie, Pascal Siakam, who's been awesome this series. I know you were dogging on him for missing his free throws. You're in the NBA. If you're not a big ass center, you got to hit your free throws. Yeah, the Pacers, they're surprising me in this one, man. But at the end of the day, injuries are part of the game, and when you don't have your stars, anything can happen.
That's why they call them free throws. They're supposed to be free. But the Pacers, they were in the. I know we always shit on the in-season tournament, but they made that tournament for a reason. They're a good basketball team. As I guess that's the last we'll talk about that series because we have Mr. Cullen returning to the show here, fresh off the Sixers loss and a nice little coping nap.
I mean, I had to take a nap, man. It was a long weekend, long day. New York took over Philly. That was a little bit of a weird thing that I had to go through all day today. Yeah, had to take a nap to sleep it off, to say the least. I was not expecting that at all. Philly saved the day with a win, I guess, but yeah, Knicks are up 3-1. I really still at a loss of words on how to react, how to address it. You know, I sound like a fraud if I say I don't care about the NBA. Eagles and the Phillies are my team, as everybody knows. So I obviously can't go back on my word, as I was very, very delusional about the Sixers. But I did find it interesting, Embiid after the game calling the fans or saying he's disappointed in the fans for not showing up, for allowing New York. Embiid, how do you think we felt the last 15, 10 years, whatever, bro? Like how exactly? 100%. I'm glad it finally clicked in your head that you're disappointed in the way the team's gone, the way the team's played, the way just everything. I thought that was a little rich for him to say he's disappointed. And sure, I get it. New York took over the stadium, whatever. But for him to say he's disappointed in the fans, that's what we've been through the last 10 years, man. So, yeah, at a big loss, like Brian just kind of addressed, had to take a nap to sleep it off. Still a little discombobulated, though.
It's not looking great at all for Embiid and company. And he hurt his knee again today, it looked like. Like he's just on his last legs, no pun intended. But
literally.
Yeah, and again, I know we've kind of beat this dead horse, but again, it was the Nova Nation guys. Josh Hart with 16 rebounds, Jalen Brunson with almost 50 points.
How's the smallest guy on the court most rebounds? Embiid is 7'2", and he got like double out rebounded by Josh Hart. It makes no sense.
He's got a 4-inch vertical.
It's unbelievable. And that's another thing. Like, you want to say disappointed? Like, Embiid, we're disappointed in you, my brother. Like, how do you allow that to happen? You want to talk about the fans taking over? We've shown up the last 10 years. You want to talk about being there for 10 years and you never seen anything like that? We're tired, bro. Like, yeah, of course, Philly's always going to show up. What do you want from us, man? We already know what's going to happen. It's rinse and repeat every year. It's usually the second round. You're not even going to make it out of the first round.
I'm not gonna lie. I am really enjoying this, especially after
the fall of Philadelphia. The Liberty Bell has cracked
again.
Cracked in 1776, brother. Either way, like I said, I can't go back on my word, right? I take pride on talking shit. I rep my city, and I'll always rep my city. But if this was the Phillies or the Eagles, I'd be way more distraught, annoyed, pissed off. It is the Sixers. I don't care about the NBA as much as those other two teams. But at the end of the day, to your guys' point, everybody loves seeing Philly down and out. And it's really like as good of seasons all the teams have had the last couple of years really has ended in some pretty bad turmoil. So we are right there, almost numb to this at this point.
Yeah, you can't get much more worse than Kawhi Leonard shooting a three and it bouncing 20 times.
I think the ball's still bouncing.
Yeah, you guys might be cursed or something.
Yeah, I mean, might be, could be, but like I said, I'll always rep the city. I'll put it this way: I'd rather rep Philly than Jacksonville. No disrespect.
Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Rep whatever you want. I'll be sitting on a beach in Jacksonville sipping a Corona. You can do whatever you want with your subway friends and whatever you want to do. What are you guys popping needles these days? What are we spray painting cars? Or taking pictures in front of fucking 70-year-old Capitol buildings and shit. You know, who the fuck cares, man? Get out of here with that Philly shit.
A lot of history.
Cool.
Well, for the sake of cheering you up a little bit, maybe we could skip over NHL for now and talk some NFL draft because I know you're happy about the Eagles draft.
I mean, yeah, they won the draft.
You're going that far as to say they won the draft?
Nah, I was pleased with the first round, right? I mean, I think they got the best cornerback prospect in Quinyon Mitchell. I mean, you can't teach 4.3 speed, right? I mean, that's just what the guy runs. I understand he came from MAC school, and we're big MAC-tion mid-major college basketball guys. Different in the NFL. Obviously, a lot quicker, more talent, the whole 9 yards when you get to that next level. But this guy looks like a dog. Seems all business. Came in, said the right things. He's got some kind of look in his eye where he just seems like he wants to come in and play hard. So I'm excited to see what the guy can do. It came down to, look, I understand. Do you pick the guy from the SEC or do you pick the guy from the MAC? Obviously, you're always probably going to say SEC, but again, guy runs a 4.3. You can coach guys up, teach them the mechanics, whatever, fundamentals. Can't teach 4.3. And I'm okay with the pick. And they got the Cooper DeJean guy or whatever his name is. I mean, they grabbed him too. So the cornerback room's loaded. A lot of people aren't even talking about Isaiah Rodgers, who got reinstated for gambling. Wasn't he? I don't want to say he was an all-pro, but he was pretty good for the Colts until he got borderline almost blackballed from the league.
Yeah, he was solid.
So, I mean, they got him reinstated. I think the cornerback room, what I love about it, nobody's even talking about James Bradbury. He's still there, and nobody's even talking about the guy. So I'm excited to see what next season's going to be. The offense is already what the offense is, right? Extremely loaded. Talent all over the place. They needed to clean up the defense. And oh, by the way, they drafted another linebacker, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Jeremiah Trotter, legend for the Eagles. I'm sure his father will debrief him on how to play for the city of Philadelphia and how to be locked into that. So cool stuff there that, we almost get a legend reincarcerated almost.
Yeah, and you got the in case Saquon gets injured, you got Trotter's teammate over there in Clemson, Will Shipley. I guess he had a bad season last year, but he was highly touted. But all I can say about your draft picks, hopefully they can say Jalen Hurts' name right, because as much as I love Malik Neighbors, he's been calling him Daniel Jones ever since he got drafted, and I think it's on purpose, just because he hates him that much.
That would be hilarious.
I haven't heard that. I really don't even know who you're referencing there. Who's called who? Daniel?
Malik Neighbors, in like the 3 or 4 interviews he's had when referring to Daniel Jones, he said Daniel Jones. And it's not like an accent thing. He's clearly saying Daniel.
Daniel Jones. He switches the first 2 letters.
Is he doing it on purpose?
He's got to be.
I only heard it in one interview, so I thought it was just a mistake, and it was pretty funny. But if he's been doing that in multiple interviews, that might mean something.
The Giants are in a little bit of shambles right now.
Talking about Philly. We can get into the disastrous New York sports. I get it. The Knicks are on fire right now, up 3-1, which, oh, by the way, they're not winning at all. So great. They want to beat Philly. That's awesome. They're not winning at all. So they can take their championship and say they beat Philly, but they have – I know I went and said Jaguars, 0% chance for the Super Bowl. I'll come out and say Knicks, 0% chance to win it all. I was called crazy for saying Jaguars 0%. They didn't even make the playoffs. So I'm pretty red hot with the 0%.
Thought we were talking about the NFL draft.
Well, now he's just shitting on all of New York, which, by the way, the Mets won today, so I'm feeling a little bit good.
Because Brian, like, we're shitting on Philly here, so obviously,
Yeah,
like,
deservingly so.
we are talking about the NFL draft because we're talking about the Giants, and then you want to talk about your highly touted draft pick who doesn't even know the fucking starting quarterback's first name.
Yeah, it's not great either. I was wondering why they drafted a tight end in the 4th round, and it turns out Darren Waller might be retiring.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, that just sums up the Giants franchise right now. They can try and do everything right. Something's going to go wrong.
I don't think they drafted an offensive lineman, which is crazy.
You guys still hype up that Andrew Thomas guy or whoever that?
Yeah, he's
Georgia
good. He's
guy?
an all-pro. He just gets hurt a little too much. Now,
I love
Evan
him.
Neal on the other side, he's a disaster.
Yeah,
I
what's up with that guy?
He hates the fans. You think
don't blame
Embiid
him.
hates the fans? He hates the fans. He yelled at them for booing. Said they're bandwagon because they boo. That's the opposite of a bandwagon.
Yeah, he's a pussy. He's from Bama.
Yep.
Wouldn't fare well here.
Evan Neal, not a friend of the pod.
Not a friend of the pod. Hey,
No.
also, speaking of Bama, I don't know if this would be fun for them or bad for them, but I'm going to say it's bad for them. They owned the Mr. Irrelevant title this year. Cornerback Jalen Key is Mr. Irrelevant. So, fuck you, Saban.
Where did he go? What NFL team?
Speaking of New York's terribleness, the Jets.
Jets.
We'll see. I mean, honestly, it's a battle of disaster for both New York teams on who's going to be the better team. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers is healthy,
Oh, it'll be the Jets.
the Jets should run New York football.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no question about that.
Now, again, that's a tall task for Rodgers to stay healthy, but
If Aaron Rodgers is healthy, it should be them in Miami battling out for the division.
No faith in
Yeah.
Drake May.
No faith in Drake May. Also, what do we think about the Bills and how their draft went and how they addressed their needs? I mean, after losing Stephon Diggs, their entire secondary between Trey White and Hoyer and everybody else, what are we thinking about the Bills right now?
I love
They
the
got-
Keon Coleman pick.
I mean, you know I do too. Big Florida State guy over here. Big pick, first pick of the 2nd round for them, getting their wide receiver 1. Outside of that, though, I don't know. I still don't think that they really did right by Josh Allen.
Well, speaking of Florida State and the New York teams, didn't Jordan Travis go to the Jets?
I was
Yes.
really hoping the Giants were going to snag him.
I mean,
Yeah.
who knows what'll happen to him, man? I mean, that he was a great guy or a great player until he got injured.
Yeah, and you know, if Rodgers could be, yeah, if Rodgers plays for a couple years, Jordan Travis can, learn from him, and the Jets can get their own Jordan Love in Jordan Travis. So that could be a pretty good move for them down the road, and only cost them a 5th round pick.
I think a pretty low risk, high reward pick right there. But in terms of the Bills and kind of what we're talking about, they got gutted at receiver. I don't know what every individual pick they made this draft, but it doesn't seem like to me they really reloaded on offense. And Dawson Knox is not pushing it over the needle for me that he's going to take them to the promised land.
Yeah, they got Kincaid still.
Yeah. Kincaid entering his 2nd season, there's definitely a little bit more promise there. They picked up Curtis Samuel in the offseason. So they're going to be running with James Cook at running back. They got Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel as their 3 wide receivers. Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox as their 2 tight ends.
I mean, based on what they had last year, I think we can all agree that's a significant downgrade in the entire offense, especially for weapons that Josh Allen now has at his disposal.
Yeah, you're replacing you essentially have the same offense, except you're replacing Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis with Keon Coleman and Curtis Samuel.
Not great.
Sounds like you went from NFL to USFL.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Not great. Josh Allen's going to have a lot on his shoulders once again.
I mean, the guy already played reckless when he had Diggs and Gabe Davis. What's it going to look like now?
It's gonna be ridiculous. Yeah, you might have been better off just going and signing Kiki Kute off of the USFL rosters.
Like, honestly, yeah. But I mean, I think we said that last year, right? Like it's the Dolphins division to lose, and they fumbled the last couple games and then had to travel on the road. And I think it was like what, negative temperature, like crazy wind chill,
KC,
Kansas City, when like all they had to do was win one out of their final 3 games to secure a home playoff game.
Yep. They fumbled the bag, had to go play in sub-zero temperature in KC against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, and it's not how you want to start off a playoff run.
I don't know. I guess switching gears here, the Legion of Boom is back. Seattle drafted Nehemiah Pritchett and DJ James. So war damn Seahawks.
I did see that. You know, those two guys on top of Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen, who we've been talking about, are two really young corners that are insane over there in Seattle. They're going to have some dogs on that defensive side, man. Seattle's loading up. Let's see what Geno Smith can do. But, man, Seattle's a good team next year. Watch out for them.
Secondary.
Well, I mean, they were coming into this year. Nobody expected much, or I guess last year, nobody expected much out of them. And they surprised me. I mean, they put up a great fight all year. And like you guys kind of are alluding to, they reloaded with their roster. And I don't know how you can count them out based on what you saw last year.
No doubt about it.
DJ James, Rookie of the Year. Get it now while you can.
But it's more you're putting a lot of faith in Geno Smith.
You are, yeah.
And sure, you might be a 500 team or, be able to be competitive. But is that the guy who can push him over the edge?
You're just another hater that he's not going to write back. Wrote him off. He's not writing you back.
I guess
so. Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, even though they're making all these additions, the biggest thing is the head coach. This is going to be Seattle's first year without Pete Carroll. Brought in Mike McDonald, the guy from the Ravens. So should be interesting to see how that goes. First year head coach. What do we think about it?
I mean, people don't realize, but dude, wasn't Carroll there for like 10 plus years?
Yeah. He's there for a
while.
They won the Super Bowl in 13, right?
Yeah.
And that couldn't have been his first year. So yeah, he might have been there for 15 years.
Yeah, he was there for a long time.
He was there for a minute.
That's
where did he coach before that? Like USC?
Yep.
Yeah, he was a college.
Yeah, I think he must have come from USC like early 2000s.
Because he coached he was coaching Reggie Bush and those teams, and then I guess parlayed that stint into a stint in the NFL. Longer than a stint. He's there, like we said, 10 plus years, 15 years.
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
Only got 1 Super Bowl out of it, but I guess, hey, some guys don't get any.
He became the head coach of the Seahawks in 2010.
Okay, yeah. So we were about
almost 15 years.
Yeah, hit the nail on the head there.
All right, let me ask you guys something about the draft. Who was your favorite round 1 pick? Outside of Matt, I don't want to hear you say it was Quinyon Mitchell for your Eagles.
I was going to say, you sure you want to ask me this question?
Like, I don't want to hear for your team. It's pretty freaking obvious. Outside of your team, who are you most excited about? Whether that's a good pick for that team, whether they're a good player that went to a good situation. What are some of the things that you liked about the first round?
Well, I was excited that the Vikings drafted J.J. McCarthy because that meant the Giants didn't. But in terms of like who I'm excited to watch, I think Xavier Worthy on the Chiefs is going to be Tyreek Hill, like we said on the live stream. And I guess I don't know how much I'd enjoy watching that, seeing the Chiefs almost win again. But yeah, no, I'll go with Xavier Worthy.
I'll tell you what I didn't like or didn't understand was Michael Penix getting drafted at number 8. And we're huge UW Husky fans here, but that pick made no sense. And I think everybody was on the right train of saying, what the hell was that pick? Including Arthur Blank, who had to confront the GM. Everybody saw the video. And even the owner of the team was like, dude, what the hell did you just do?
Yeah, no, that was Jack's Michael of the week. Because it's just, it was that ridiculous.
It made no sense. In terms of, if we want to talk about who or a guy that we like the pick of, I honestly I don't know that I particularly have one. I didn't love the first 10 picks. I think I think the quarterbacks, and this is a hot take, I don't like any of the quarterbacks in this draft. I really don't.
Yeah, me and Brian were talking about it earlier. Brian can have his own opinions. For me, I was saying that Caleb Williams. I don't know how I feel about him, but he could not have gotten. He could not start in a better position for what the Bears have around him, the receiving core, the weapons, the defense. He's going to have every opportunity to be a great quarterback in this league. Outside of him, even though I don't understand the pick, I still think Michael Penix can be a really good quarterback in this league as well. Outside of those two guys, I don't think anybody's going to work out.
Jaden Daniels is going to be very good in the NFL. He's going to win Rookie of the Year this year, and he might win an MVP in the future. He's that good.
Dude, you don't even believe that.
I do. I've been saying it. I've been saying it since the beginning of this year when you guys were clowning on at me for telling you he's going to win the Heisman.
Brian, you're lying through your teeth.
You literally don't even believe that take.
Jaden Daniels is going to be very good in the NFL.
I was looking at this the other day. Look at the pieces that he has around him. You got Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson. After that, nobody.
Yeah,
and then
two solid receivers.
Jahan Dotson?
Yeah, he was good.
He's pretty good.
You'll see this year.
He's worked with absolute shit at quarterback.
They had or I guess that guy went to the Falcons. Who was the short white guy who
Sam Howell.
No, Heineke.
Heineke.
Just aired the ball out like crazy, just forced the ball down the field. And then they did have Sam Howell, who, oh, by the way, pretty sure both you guys called an elite quarterback.
I did.
That gets swept under the rug.
He was playing elite through the first 5 weeks of the season last year.
Led the league in passing yards.
Exactly.
He did, but that needed to be addressed.
Yeah, maybe I just need to stop putting faith in Commanders quarterbacks. You think Bo Nix wins the quarterback job in Denver?
If he doesn't deserve a job in the NFL because that quarterback room is shit.
I don't know. Zach Wilson with the extra altitude under his deep ball?
Closer to home?
That's another one. That's another one that I want to address. Why? If he's not going to be the starting quarterback, you just blew what was it? The 12th overall pick on him. You could have gotten Brock Bowers, an actual weapon for Jared Stidham or Zach Wilson. I mean, look, you're talking about Bo Nix. Do we really think that he's that much better than Zach Wilson or what Jared Stidham can provide? I don't. Definitely not. Those guys have at least been in the NFL, have seen the NFL game for a little while. Bo Nix, oh man, I don't know what Sean Payton was thinking there, man. I really don't.
Well, let me ask you guys this, right? You guys are both Auburn guys. Are you guys now rooting for Bo Nix to be good, or are you guys still anti-Bo Nix?
Yeah, I want to see him be good.
Jack, you seem like you're pretty anti-Bo Nix.
Dude, I just couldn't care less. Bo Nix will not have any impact on. I have no feeling towards Bo Nix anymore. He's not an Auburn guy by any means. Sure, he went there for a little while, but he finished his career as an Oregon Duck, and he's a Duck. I mean, look, he's not an Auburn guy. I'm not cheering for him like I do another guy that comes out of Auburn. And when they show his player card, when he makes a big play, it says college Auburn. It's going to say Oregon. And I'm not really vibing with Bo Nix, man. Simple as that.
I bet you on his Sunday Night Football intro, he'll say Oregon and Auburn. Or he'll switch it up and say, Oregon 1 week.
The last time Auburn won an Iron Bowl was behind the hands and legs of Bo Nix.
That's true.
But either way, not cheering on Bo Nix in the NFL.
I think I won't be actively cheering for him, but I'll be rooting for him.
Let me ask
He's
you this.
also-
Is he going to occupy a roster spot on either of your fantasy teams this upcoming NFL fantasy season? I know Brian 100% will have him as a third quarterback roster. Jack, you seem like it's not even going to pop into your mind.
No, I mean, because they're running a Sean Payton offense, which is going to be disgusting. They don't have weapons out there. No, there's nothing I want there's nothing I want to do. What they got rid of Jerry Jeudy in the offseason. He's out in Cleveland now. Who do they have at receiver? Who do they have at tight?
No
Who?
weapons.
Marvin Mims.
Yeah.
You really just said that to me. You said that out loud.
He's fast.
What is he? Their wide receiver 2 behind Cortland Sutton?
Yeah.
That's gross, dude.
Yeah, another take that you don't believe, Brian.
I like Marvin Mims.
Oh, no, you don't. You're full of shit.
You lying to yourself again.
So who has the best defensive back or cornerback room in the NFL? And nobody wants to say the Eagles, but
Seattle.
Shit, yeah, I was gonna say off first thought, I'm gonna say Seattle. Seattle, maybe Dallas with Gilmore and Diggs. And Bland. No, he's all right, but
okay, so let's go through the Eagles cornerback room since everybody seems to forget how loaded they are.
They have Slay and the 2 rookies.
Darius Slay, James Bradbury's still there.
No, James Bradbury sucks, dude. Do not give me James Bradbury.
Still there.
That's the second name out of your mouth.
I was trying to do you the favor by
I'm going through the list of guys who were there.
Yeah, but
I barely got Bradbury out before that triggered you for whatever reason.
This is Nick Batum all over again. You gotta convince yourself they're better than they are.
And then you got the best cornerback prospect in the draft, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, whatever his last name is, Eli Ray, Keely Ringo. But then we're going through the whole D-back. Everybody forget, C.J. Gardner-Johnson is there. Reed Blankenship, serviceable. You guys don't want to admit it, but there's not a room deeper or better than the Eagles. There's just not.
Seattle.
There's just no way.
Let me
Quarterback and safety group as a whole, D-back group as a whole, there's nobody deeper than the Eagles right now in the NFL. And that's just what it is.
All right. Seattle's got Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen, Rayshawn Jenkins, who they just picked up from my Jags. All right, look, I'll give it to you. I think that if you have to play like a dime package or like a quarters package, if you're gonna be putting like 5-6 DBs out there, like sure, I'll give it to the Eagles. But I like their 1-2 punch better than the Eagles' 1-2 punch because I don't even know who your 2 is.
Quinyon Mitchell.
Okay, he hasn't played snap yet, so
doesn't need to.
The Ravens secondary is pretty filthy too.
All because of Kyle Hamilton, though.
They still have Humphrey. He probably retired.
It sparked a good debate that nobody wants to talk about. The Eagles are finally back to having a very competent D-back room. This reminds me of the Lito Shepherd and Sheldon Brown days. The Brian Dawkins days. This is what this reminds me of.
No, you don't have a Weapon X on your fucking team right now. Nobody's like that.
No, but the talent reminds me of back to those days. We haven't had a room like this since Lito Shepherd, Sheldon Brown, and like you just said, Weapon X and Brian Dawkins.
If Brian Dawkins played today, he would be trash.
Yeah, right. Everything would every hit would be 15 yards.
Oh, if he did, I'm just saying
You're right, Brian, and that just made me really sad that you said that.
He's an illegal hit merchant.
Yeah, we're not going to see another player like that, which is really sad to hear.
Well, that's on the NFL.
He was a fucking dog. As far as the Jags draft goes, pretty happy about it. We addressed some of the key things that we needed to. I mean, our first 3 picks went wide receiver, defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman, and then cornerback. And those were the 3 position groups, the 3 positions that we needed to bolster in this draft. So I'm happy with the way we did it. We grabbed the 4th wide receiver off the board in Brian Thomas Jr. Right after the big 3 with Rome and Neighbors and Marvin Harrison. Here comes Brian Thomas Jr. 6'3", 209. He's a big motherfucker. He's downfield threat, big playability. We basically just said, Calvin Ridley, you can walk. We're not going to be paying you the tens of millions of dollars a year that Tennessee will. We're going to get a young rookie and do it this way. Hopefully this works out for us and it's not a Treylon Burks, A.J. Brown kind of situation. But I'm really excited about this first round pick. Second round, we went back to the LSU well, grabbed a big, unpolished interior defensive lineman, basically a new Trayvon Walker project. And Trayvon Walker's been getting better as the years have gone on. This is going to be a big year 3 for him. So I think it's going to work out. And I'm happy about it. And then in round 3, we go get ourselves a corner out of Florida State. Go Noles. Definitely need some defensive back help. Definitely don't have enough where we stand right now going into this next season. Hopefully we can make a move and sign someone like Justin Simmons, but we're going to need some DBs to be a competitive team this year.
Yeah, I think the Jaguars, they had a good draft. They've gotten better this offseason. I think it's better that they didn't sign Ridley. The issue is another team in the division signed him, and the entire division got a lot better as well. So even though the Jags have improved, the other teams have improved, maybe a little bit better. Again, that's yet to be seen, but that's kind of their biggest issue is the other teams around them in the division are rapidly improving.
Yeah, they are. Yes, they are. I think Tennessee is going to be a very interesting team come this year. Vrabel's no longer in town, so from the top down, there's a lot of changes. See how the new coaching affects how they play. No Derrick Henry this year, right? Their running backs are Tajay Spears and Tony Pollard, so much smaller guys than your normal running back. Not even compare that to when your last running back was Derrick Henry, who's probably the biggest running back of all time. And then you go down to those 2 little guys. So should be a lot different, and a lot's going to ride on Will Levis's shoulders. So let's see how he can respond.
Division's trash.
Brian, you have 0 right. 0 right.
2 Super Bowls. Talk to me when you win a Super Bowl.
Oh my God.
Can't hear you over the 2.
Oh my God. All right. Well, the Giants have been irrelevant for the last however many years, so you can say whatever you want, but I'll take the Eagles being relevant year after year.
Giants are making the playoffs this year.
The Eagles aren't?
Oh my
Giants.
God. Brian, you guys want to have 6 wins this year.
This is just the episode of takes that Brian does not believe in.
Brian. Yeah,
The Giants are going to win 9 games and make the playoffs.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
I'll take the under. How much you want to bet?
On what? Them making the playoffs or them winning 9 games?
Neither of those are happening.
Those are both happening. They might win 10.
I'll put 20 on it that neither of those happen.
All right.
There's the handshake or a handshake.
There you go.
Locked in.
The league neighbors is about to have 2,000 receiving yards.
Oh, my God.
That's crazy, bro.
I say I'm delusional about Philly teams. You hear what this guy's saying right now?
That's crazy, bro. He's got Daniel Jones throwing him the football.
Daniel Jones is good.
Daniel Jones is a bitch.
Another take that you just don't believe.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll revisit this in January when the Giants are the last one of our teams standing in the playoffs.
Let me ask
when
you
you're talking
Let me ask you
20
this.
rounds.
Let me ask you this, and it won't be week 1 because Brian will not be watching NFL week 1. But how many weeks into the season Are we gonna wait until Brian starts whipping out the Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence graphic? Because Brian loves that graphic.
He's not going to be able to use that after 4 games this season.
I
Yeah,
tend to
because
agree with
Daniel
you.
Jones will just overtake Trevor by that much. It won't even make sense anymore.
I mean, I'm not like a huge Trevor Lawrence guy, but like that, like to say that Daniel Jones is better than Trevor Lawrence is just it's.
I didn't say he's better. I just said they're the same. They're on the same level.
Well, the graphic you throw out seems that you tend to believe that Jones is better than Lawrence.
It looks like they're about the same.
Look, you can always pick and choose whatever stats you want.
There's like 12 stats on there.
It's a wild graphic.
Brian, my silence is going to speak volumes right now. It's not. Just no. The answer is no. The answer is no.
And it doesn't matter because the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl.
That's the craziest of them all. Well, before we go to hockey, do you want to give us a Michael of the week if you have one?
That's what it was. So my Michael of the week, and it actually I'm pretty sure happened today around noon. So when everybody's watching this, would be yesterday that it happened. But I don't know if you guys saw, Jacob Junis was warming up in the outfield and was doing his regular stretching. By the way, if you don't know who Jacob Junis is, pitcher, I think for the Brewers. And pregame they do like their regular workouts out in the outfield. This man was just jogging in the outfield during batting practice, got smoked by a line drive in batting practice, hit the deck. Ambulance came out on the field, had to bring him to the hospital. That's my Michael of the week because I was shocked that would ever happen. One, why are you jogging around the outfield while they're taking live BP? And two, how does that happen? Like, that's something I would expect to happen in Little League.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's like a 1 in a million. It's right.
Yeah, I mean, the odds of
Really?
that hitting you, but fucking A.
In the head. In the head.
Batter's got to go 4 or something. Let him
That's
know.
my Michael of the week because I was shocked that.
No, he needs like a ball boy to run around protecting him with a glove in case a ball comes by while he's doing his jog.
I don't even think he was supposed to pitch today. He was just
Yeah, he's
going
probably
through his like off day pitching, like quick jog,
getting his
and
cardio in.
got his cardio in and got smoked by a.
That's a really tough look, man. That's a really tough beat.
That's my Michael of the week. I was pretty shocked that would ever happen.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. But yeah, I guess hockey.
Avalanche are back.
The Avalanche are back.
They are very back.
They're much more alive than my Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, the Leafs are done. I know, Jack, you had the Panthers. They're very much.
Panthers are thriving, up 3-1.
Yep, my Caps are about to get swept. Down 1-0 in Game 4.
As
Go
expected.
Rangers.
Although you
No.
did say the Caps were going to get one game. You still think that's happening?
No. Now I'm just hoping Ovi gets 1 goal.
Even though Dallas was very good, aren't they about to get swept out by the Knights?
I think they have 1. They might
They
be
got
down 2-1 or 3-1. 2-1.
But either way, I mean, that weren't they the 1 seed? They're giving Boston Bruins of last year vibes, where they had a great year, 1 seed, and sure they might not get swept, but they're not really that competitive in the first round after having an awesome year.
Yeah, I should have known I was cooked with the Maple Leafs after they drew the Bruins in the first round. You knew they weren't losing the first round playoff series after last year.
Yeah, right. You're not making that same mistake twice.
The Islanders are cooked. But at least one New York team will get out of the first round.
Go Rangers.
Well, so it looks like at least the Avalanche will make it out of their round. Panthers will make it out of their round. This doesn't count. I'm not giving you a bailout, Brian, but give us another team that you can now root for since it looks like the Maple Leafs are not. And no, this isn't your team that you get to claim if they do win it all and say, oh, on the podcast 2 weeks ago, I had them winning it all. No, your shot's already done. The Leafs are out. But I will give you at least a shot to give another team just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, I'll go from Austin Matthews to Connor McDavid.
It's just not happening.
Oil me up, Brian.
Bring it home. Coming back to
Right.
Canada.
Fine. At this point, you just want to see a Canadian team win. I think.
That's exactly what I
does.
wanted to have.
It's all he cares about.
I mean, it's really just picking Canadian teams at this point.
Do it for Tim Hortons.
And I feel like people still aren't talking about the Hurricanes like they should be.
I'm
They're
in it.
favored to win the cup, and it seems like nobody thinks they're going to win the cup.
Because fuck them, that's why.
Well,
They're gonna lose to the Rangers next round.
No one cares about North Carolina sports unless it's college basketball.
especially hockey. Like, what an out of touch team.
Yeah, it's like North Carolina professional sport. It's the worst sports town, sports state. We've talked about this. Like, no one cares. So why should I care?
Fair.
All right. Well, the last two sports stories I have, Alek Manoah has pitched 4 games in the minor leagues, and he has an 11.85 ERA.
No.
You ever see on social media where they're like, blah, 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 this, that, and the third needs to be studied? Alek Manoah needs to be fucking studied, dude, because what the hell happened to this guy?
He chirped Big Papi in that All-Star game when he was mic'd up, and then his career just fell off.
Yo, what? I didn't know he was doing that poorly, man.
Yeah, he's that guy.
I was out this was like 2 years ago. I went out to a brunch and he was there at our table. I got brunch with Alek Manoah like two years ago.
No way, that's pretty
Yeah.
sick.
And then he
2 years ago, that's sick.
Yeah, and then he had himself an all-star season. Damn, I don't know what the hell happened.
Guess you have to go get brunch with him again.
Yeah, maybe I'm the missing link.
But I know, kind of to what you're saying, he had an all-star year, was doing really well, and honestly looked like he was going to be a dominant pitcher for years to come. And it's not even like a slow downturn, like crash and burn, what that guy has done. And
I don't know what's happened. I don't know him that well. You know, we're not buddies like that, but I know he got married within like the past year and a half or so. So maybe that had something to do with it.
Jack, what did you say to this guy at dinner that just absolutely derailed his career?
Bro, I didn't even say that much to him, man. We were just hanging out. We were drinking. We were drinking at like fucking 11 o'clock in the morning.
What did you fucking like this guy's drink with that his career is just absolutely shit?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Some Miami stuff. It was a Miami thing.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Sticking with baseball, I don't know if you guys have seen the blind ranking of like they'll give a player the phone and it'll be like the other MLB players are going off at random and they have to like rank them 1 through 10. It's basically like a blind rank list where they'll get a player and they'll have to put them like 1 through 10, and the next guy they have to put 1 through 10. Well, the Braves did that a while back with Ronald Acuna, and he was like going through it pretty meticulously. He would like get a guy, say his name, and then like think about it and put him on the list. It got to Stephen Kwan, and he just laughed and put him at number 10. Anyway, the Guardians and the Braves were playing this weekend. Very first at bat of the series is Stephen Kwan leading off, rips a home run over Acuna's head into the right field bleachers.
Did he do it? Bryce Harper stared him down.
I don't think so, but he should
have. I love that, man. We always talk about it. Don't give him bulletin board material. I love that though. Shout out, Steve.
It might have been his first homer of the year too. Like, he does not hit home runs, and he just cranked one into the chop house.
And that's your show, folks.
Fair tree.
All right, well, I think our brains are running on E here, so we can wrap it up. This has been Views from Section 400. There goes Jack.
Yeah.
It's been Brian for Jack and for Matt.
Gotta go eat some Chipotle, collect my thoughts of what I had to witness today, and go work all week. And just honestly, at this point, I don't even want to have to get into the 3-1 Sixers cut. Like, just put the nail in the coffin on Tuesday, end the series. I'm done. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm done with the Sixers. Just move on.
All right. Shout out Mark Santos.